Cycles of Crisis and Renewal: Understanding Economic, Environmental, and Moral Transformations. Exploring a variety of sources reveals consistent themes regarding societal crises and renewal. These works collectively highlight several shared topics, including economic instability, environmental disaster, moral and ethical erosion, authoritarian tendencies, persecution, and ultimately, the potential for spiritual and societal renewal. Economic instability emerges prominently across these narratives. Forecasters and authors such as Gerald Celente, Peter Schiff, and Stephen Lieb point to unsustainable financial practices, extensive debt accumulation, and inherent vulnerabilities within global banking systems. Historical comparisons, such as the Great Depression, reinforce the plausibility of severe financial collapses, emphasizing the widespread hardship and social panic that could ensue. Jonathan Cahn's works, including The Mystery of the Shemitah, similarly discuss historical economic cycles and patterns that warn of recurring financial crises. These economic patterns are not isolated incidents but reflect cyclical behavior within financial markets, often driven by speculative bubbles, risky investments, and a widespread disregard for economic sustainability. The shared perspective across these works highlights the urgency for proactive economic reforms and the necessity for greater public awareness and financial literacy. Environmental disaster is another shared theme extensively discussed. Jared Diamond, in his influential book Collapse, explores how environmental degradation has historically contributed to the collapse of societies, drawing from examples such as Easter Island and the Mayan civilization. Naomi Klein's This Changes Everything provides contemporary context, arguing that modern capitalism's exploitation of natural resources accelerates ecological devastation. Climate experts from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, present a consistent narrative of escalating climate events linked directly to human-induced climate change. These authoritative sources collectively predict increases in severe weather patterns, extreme droughts, flooding, hurricanes, and devastating wildfires, mirroring recent global events. This convergence underscores the significant and escalating risks facing humanity, emphasizing urgent calls for comprehensive global environmental policies and increased public action towards sustainability. The erosion of moral and ethical foundations emerges as a crucial and consistent concern. Sociologists and philosophers, including Oswald Spengler in his Decline of the West, Pitirim Sorokin in Social and Cultural Dynamics, and Erwin W. Lutzer in When a Nation Forgets God, argue that moral relativism and ethical decay often precede societal collapse. Their analyses point to declining family structures, increased acceptance of behaviors once universally condemned, and widespread moral indifference as clear indicators of societal vulnerability. Naomi Wolf further elaborates in The End of America, describing how moral and social fragmentation contributes to authoritarian regimes, weakening democratic institutions and societal cohesion. These works collectively emphasize that maintaining strong moral foundations is crucial for societal health and stability. Authoritarian tendencies and persecution feature prominently as warnings across these narratives. Naomi Wolf identifies systematic processes through which democratic societies subtly transition towards authoritarian governance, often facilitated by social division, fear, and manipulation. Historical and contemporary examples of religious and ideological persecution further illustrate these risks. Jonathan Cahn, along with historical accounts of early Christian persecutions and recent global conflicts, demonstrates that crises frequently trigger increased hostility and suppression towards certain communities, particularly those holding traditional or minority beliefs. Recognizing these patterns underscores the importance of vigilance against oppressive regimes and emphasizes the need for robust defense of democratic freedoms and human rights. Despite the gravity of these warnings, an underlying and hopeful narrative persists, emphasizing resilience, renewal, and spiritual awakening. Viktor Frankl, in his seminal work, Man's Search for Meaning, profoundly demonstrates humanity's capacity to find profound meaning and spiritual depth even amidst intense suffering and crisis. Jonathan Cahn and other spiritual authors echo this perspective, proposing that adversity often serves as a catalyst for spiritual awakening and collective renewal. William Strauss and Neil Howe, in The Fourth Turning, identify cyclical patterns in history that show societies regularly undergo periods of intense crisis, followed by rejuvenation, renewal, and strengthened community bonds. They argue that periods of great societal pressure can lead to extraordinary unity, resilience, and lasting transformative growth. In summary, the comprehensive exploration across these varied works offers a unified perspective on societal challenges and the profound possibilities for renewal. By integrating insights from economics, environmental studies, sociology, history, psychology, and spirituality, these narratives collectively provide a deeper understanding of humanity's cyclical experiences with crises. They ultimately highlight the persistent human potential for resilience, compassion, and meaningful societal transformation amidst even the most challenging circumstances.